welcome back to another episode of The Launchpad. I'm your host, Kelsey, and I am here with Mike and Jean, better known as Hoang and SABAI. Hi guys, how are we doing today?
Good. We're
Yeah,
we're just
really good.
we're just hanging out. Gene and I both got back to Vancouver recently from LA. So
Oh, right on. What were you guys doing down in LA?
we were doing our first headline Million Days tour show at the Roxy
At the
out
Roxy.
in
Oh,
LA.
that's such a
Yeah.
nice venue.
It was really
Yeah,
fun. Gene, you want to say something about it?
yeah, it was crazy to have our first headlining show slash tour, but LA was like the debut show from the tour, and we were there for about 3 weeks, I want to say. So we're like rehearsing and also like writing for more music and performing. It was a really, really fun time in LA this trip.
Awesome. So that was the debut part of the tour. Where else are you guys headed on this tour?
We have a pretty fat list. It's like
Yeah,
another 16 cities. We're pretty much hitting the entirety of the US, all the way from West Coast, East Coast, and a bunch of cities near the South as well. A lot of
Right on.
Texas,
Ooh,
California,
Texas. Fun.
New
Okay, so like
York. Yeah.
Southwest vibes. I got you. Awesome. Are you guys heading up to Denver at all?
Oh, we are
we
Oh,
are
right on. Where are
actually.
you guys playing out
at
there?
the Bluebird Theater. That's what we're doing.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice, nice. I lived in Denver for a little bit and I love the music scene out there and the venues out there are wonderful. So that's like one of my favorite things to make sure artists are stopping by Denver.
Yeah, Denver,
Yeah,
the scene there is pretty crazy for all aspects of music, but especially electronic music. It's very strong there.
It's super strong. And then same thing here down in Phoenix too. Our scene is wonderful. So you guys just recently collabed on a song called North Star, and this is a follow-up to a collaboration you guys made about like 3 years ago, right?
Hmm.
Awesome. So like what
that's
was the
correct.
process? What was the
Yeah,
creative
so
process behind that?
so for this one, I basically told Mike that he needs to get his butt to LA because we need to like wrap the song up before the start of the tour, and
Yeah.
it's crazy because I started the instrumental in Sydney, and Mike started the instrumental in Vancouver, and in LA we basically merged two of our project files together, and then it just worked like perfectly. And on that same trip, like we had like a writing session with our friend Casey Cook, and there's another person, Carson as well, and like basically the four of us just got into the studio and wrote the lyrics and then wrapped up the song, recorded everything. So yeah, we basically finished the whole thing in like
Yeah,
I want
within
to say
like a
like
few
a week.
days. That was
Yeah, maybe
crazy.
like a few
Yeah.
days. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, and it became such a beautiful track. I was just listening to it before we got to talking, and it is so inspirational. It just really feels like you can feel the love that you guys put into that 100%. It's
Thank
a
you.
really, you can like, I feel like a lot of listeners will be able to resonate with that and feel just the energy that you guys put into it. I think it's really special.
Now, yeah, we worked really hard to get to the point where we can just put out music that we feel like that we can write experiences around in our own personal experiences. For example, like North Star, Gene was just saying that we merged both of our instrumentals and we both brought our respective creative juices and experiences into that one song. So obviously Gene has a lot of his experience, and that's evident in his writing, and same with myself as well. We kind of merged both of our worlds together on this song, and it's our first collab in 3 years, so we wanted to make sure it was really special. So
And
Yeah.
that is so evident with what you guys have come up with and what the final product of that. It truly is a beautiful track. What is the name of the other track you guys collabed on a few years ago?
Million Days
Million Days. Oh, okay,
with
cool.
our
So
good
that's why you
friend
guys are
Claire.
calling it the
Yeah.
Million Days tour and kind
Yeah.
of bringing it back together. I love that.
It's all like
Exactly.
full
Yeah.
circle to us.
A full
So
circle thing. So have you guys been friends before music, or is music what brought you guys together? What was the origins of that?
we Gene, you
Yeah.
you
I mean, I can tell the story, but
the
basically,
Burnaby
we
party.
were we were going to our friend's place. He's also an artist as well. His name's Fairlane, but we went to his house for like this like house party basically, and we were in a taxi or like an Uber together, like me and Hoang, and then we just start talking, and then Mike was like, "Oh yeah, like I make music as well," and I'm like, "Oh my God, me too," and then we start talking, and like we
And
just
it
start to
turns
like
out we like
write
the
music in A
way
minor.
we think and write together is so similar, and we're like, oh my God, like we we have to work on some shit together. Like this is crazy.
Immediately,
Yeah,
you
and
were
then
That
we
like,
was
we
like
just
have
like,
to.
6 years ago. That was insane. Damn.
Dang, was
yeah,
that in Vancouver?
Yeah, that was in Vancouver.
Okay, for sure.
2018 was when we started writing the song together. I still remember.
Damn. We've been
Wow, it's
friends for
so
that long. Damn.
Yeah.
so wholesome. We love to see it.
Yeah.
Do
No,
you
I'm
guys
sick of him now.
have any?
Yeah, I'm
Like
so
I'm
sick
over
of
him.
him.
I have to deal with
6 years
Gene.
with this guy.
Do you have any plans to make the projects like a duo, like merge them together, or are we just gonna keep doing like independent projects with collabs here and there?
We've thought about it. It'd be a cool idea, but I feel like the way like we're both going, I feel like it's just stronger just to come together for these like very special moments. Because I know
Yeah.
Gene and I both have our differences when it comes to musicality,
Mm.
and coming together, I just feel like it just strengthens us. Like we thought about it,
Yeah.
like a duo name together. Like what do we have? Like Sabang? What does everyone keep saying?
Yeah, but like
That's a stupid name, by the
realistically,
way.
I think us like being separately is better, but like we're always gonna like come back and then make more songs together here and there because I
Always.
feel like every time that we make a song together, it's almost like we went through like different chapters of our life, and then we're like, oh, let's write about this feeling or this memory or like our friendship or something. And yeah,
It's
so
like a bonding experience, like writing music together. Because Gene and I have both written a lot of different types of music with other artists, and we always have a great time doing that. But I've never really had an experience writing with someone like Gene, because maybe like we think so alike in both of our
yeah.
respective careers, and the
Like
shit that we've both gone through, it's like it just adds up. It's pretty crazy.
yeah, like the best way to like describe like when we write together now is both me and Mike, we started like we Million Days, like our previous song started to blow up during COVID, right? And then after that, like we went on tour together and we saw the rise of this song together, and then both of our projects are growing at the same very similar pace. And because of that, like we felt the same thing. Like we went through the same thing, like the ups and the downs and all of that. And because of that, it's a very unique like relationship that both me and Mike have. And that's why when we write a song together, both of us just we get each other so well
Because
because we write the same
there's
uh
no one else that I can
yeah.
truly like relate with. Because yeah, we meet other artists that are all over the place, but Gene and I have seen both of our like careers rise like literally at the same time together from the very start.
Yeah.
Like when we used to just make music in our bedrooms, like at our full-time jobs. So
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like
That's
we quit our jobs like pretty much like the
same
same month.
time, remember? Yeah, that
It's
was
crazy.
crazy.
And we didn't even tell each other. We're just like, I think I quit first, and like a month after, or like
Yeah.
2 weeks after that, Mike was like, "Oh, I also quit too." I was like, "Dude,
Like,
like
you
we
know
just
what?
made the same
Me
post."
too.
wow, you guys are really
Yeah.
riding the same wave. That's so magical to be able to share that with someone I assume you consider your best friend at this point.
I
That's
know it's crazy.
insane. So, what
Yeah.
did you guys do before music? So, I know you guys said you both quit your day jobs. What was the original career path you guys had set out on before music?
Um, I can go first, but
Yeah, go.
so I used to work at Monster Cat, which is a record label in Vancouver. I was I actually worked there for 6 years, so that's my first like my way of like getting into music industry. I was an assistant to the co-founder, but I also did kind of like the office manager stuff and then like HR as well for Monster Cat. But yeah, so like I work at the label, but I didn't get to do anything that's like on the music side. But work at the label, I also like understand a lot of like how all the pieces work together. But that was like my full-time job. So 9 to 5 or like 10 to 6, I would be working on like, Monster Cat, like the office job. And then after work, I would just keep like grinding and working in the studio after on the SABAI stuff. So that's kind of like my routine for like 6 years. And then Mike, your turn.
Yeah, so I've always been working on music my entire life, but between I think it was 2016 or 17 all the way until 2020 or so, I worked at a scooter startup out and they're based out of San Francisco. Essentially, they're like rental scooters that you can rent with your
Okay,
app,
that I was gonna
with an
ask you,
app on
just
the
like the
phone.
little rental scooters. Okay,
Yeah,
I've
like
heard of those
Bird or
before.
Lime. It was called Spin. And I
Okay.
super grateful to have worked there with a lot of good friends. But there was a point where every day I was kind of getting burnt out. And on top of that, I could only think about music like every single day. Like I would like wait until like exactly 5 or 6 p.m. when I get off all of my meetings at home and then just like grind out music every day because that's all I ever wanted to do. But yeah, going back to that, I've been making music for about like 15 years now. So I thought it was a good time because just like Gene said, like both of our careers started to like bud like near the start and the end of COVID. And I just felt like it was the right move for me. So I did
Right
it.
on. I love that. I love that. So, Jean, I kind of have a similar question for what Mike just went off of. What was the catalyst for quitting your job and like really like pushing for music? Like, what was, because he said like all he could think about was music like all the time. Was it something similar for you? Like, it just truly was like a fueled passion that you're like, this is something I have to do?
Yeah, so very similar to Mike, except I think I found out like that music is gonna be what I want to do even before working at Monster Cat. So uh I can't remember what year exactly. I want to say like 2013 or something. I was like 5 months away from getting my bachelor in like the university that I was going to, and then yeah, I was like 5 months away from getting the degree, and then I handed in blank paper during my final exam, and I actually walked out because I wanted to fail all my courses on purpose so that I don't have a plan B when like the music thing gets tough. So I actually did that. So I knew that I really wanted to do music. I was like the only child. My parents sold their business in Thailand so that they can afford to move me to Canada, and during like that like 1 or 2 years of me like at the university, I started to like fight with them so much because I would just like keep trying to make music, wanted to do music, and they were just like, no, like you have to like finish the school, like you're our like only son. And then it got to the point where like it got really bad, and then I just remember thinking that like every day that I'm going to school, it's like I'm like dying inside. So I remember thinking that like I don't want to have a plan B when music thing gets difficult. So yeah, I was like writing my exam, and then like I just wrote my name down and just handed a blank paper. And when I came home, like I remember crying and told my parents that was like, hey, like I just dropped out. And then like my mom and my dad didn't talk to me for like a few days. They were really, really upset at me. And actually the next day my mom was like, oh, yesterday, Gene, you probably had like a mental breakdown. It's okay. Like, we'll call the school, we'll talk to your professor and ask you to rewrite the exam. And I was like, no, I'm not writing it. And then that's how I dropped out. Um, and then about a year after that, my mom was like easier on me, and she's like, okay, like if you really want to do music, maybe we can like get you to go to like an audio school called Nimbus. And then they took out another loan, like a giant loan. Like, we weren't like rich or anything. So like it was a lot of money to take out that like 25,000 loan. And we went to that school. And then on the last semester, I met Ari, like luckily, who's like the co-founder of Monster Cat. And that's how like after I graduated from that audio school, I ended up like start working at Monster Cat. But but yeah, so I guess like I knew that I wanted to do music for a very long time. But even after dropping out of university to doing like a 1 year program at the audio school and then working at Monster Cat for 6 years. So I guess like basically I was producing for like 6 or 7 years, didn't put out any single song. And then the first song that I put out was A Million Days, which was signed to Monster Cat. So I feel like a lot of people saw my project and like, oh my god, like he blew up like so fast within the 3 years, like SABAI project has gotten here. But the truth is, it's like I've been doing this for like over 10 years. I've been like working through it, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
then same with Mike. Mike's been producing for like 15 years, and it's only been like the past like 2 to 3 years that our project is getting like some like traction now.
Wow, that is one of the craziest stories I have never ever heard of someone putting that much faith into themselves. And I feel like that's like a true testament to your passion for the project. That's insane. And I'm so glad it all paid off for you because that was a risky move for sure. So that's to say the least,
It
that's
was
pretty
like
risky.
all in. It
All
was
in,
like
all,
100% all in.
you should be a poker player in Vegas too, if
Yeah.
that's how good your luck is. Shoot. No, I know it's not luck. I know it's a lot of hard work that you guys have definitely put
To take on this music thing, you kind of have to be like a little bit crazy and a little bit naive, in like a good way. And Gene and I have kind of learned that step like over the years, like to be a bit more reckless, like in a good way.
Yeah, I feel like you
Yeah,
kind of
like
have to take
reckless is
risks.
good. Yeah,
I mean, maybe reckless is not the right word, but like,
but like really believe in yourself when no
yeah,
one else
it's like
does.
all
And
in,
then
like do or die. Yeah.
Because at the end
yeah,
of the
like you
day,
have
like,
to. Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, no, I was just gonna say like you really have to like. I feel like it started off by like you believing in yourself, and then no one else does, and then after you start gaining some success, and then now you're like, okay, like maybe I can do it, you know. And then like
Yeah.
after that you're going full force, and now everyone else is like believing in you as well, because there's not like any doubt in ourselves anymore that we're gonna go do this. And then that's
Yeah.
kind of like the
And
stages that
it's
we
pretty
all went
easy to
through.
say that and like hear that over like an interview, but like just to put into perspective, like imagine working on something so hard for so many years by yourself and still not get any recognition for it. And like that's literally what Gene and I went through for like many years. So like
Yeah.
it was pretty crazy. Like so
I
that
think
like we're just super
yeah.
grateful now. Like stupid amount of gratefulness like that we have for the fans and for everyone that helps us. So
So that's actually what my next
Yeah.
question was going to be is here at Moonlighting, we like to ask all of our artists, what is one thing you guys are grateful for? Whether it's the music industry, outside of that, anything. Like what is the thing that you're most grateful for?
Um, I think I'm grateful for my, to be honest, like my younger self. That's like what I'm grateful for the most, that I didn't give up. And I know it sounds really like cheesy and corny, but like that is the truth. I felt like the earlier stage of like doing music, it felt like we're walking in a cave or like in a tunnel, and it's completely dark, and you have no idea where the exit is. Like you just don't see it, and you just keep walking, and you're just like you don't know when you're gonna be able to like come out. And I think that's like the best way to explain what it's like to be an entrepreneur or to do music, is like you just keep going. And I am grateful that I didn't give up, because if I did, I wouldn't be able to like enjoy how fulfilling it feels now to get to
yeah.
do what we love every day.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I know it sounds cliche, but literally like when you think about every other aspect of like life, it's so easy to give up on something. Like it's so easy. Like Gene, what if like 10 years ago you were like, this Ableton software is kind of hard, like nah, right? And then now your life went a totally different direction off of that little itty bitty decision to quit, right?
Yeah, it's literally like that one like every, because like if because me saying that, like, we're grateful that we didn't give up, but did we think about giving up? Oh my god, it's like every day.
Yeah, no.
Every
You're
day for
like
like
you're
years.
constantly getting bombarded by like things not working out. And I know it's easy to say like, oh, just stay optimistic, but like those were really the days, like really early on, that really like made or break our futures, you know? So
Yeah, and like the hardest part looking back was like spending like 40, 50 hours, 100 of hours like on a song, you know, and feeling like oops, am I back? But yeah, like spending like 100 of hours on a song, and then knowing that like no one will ever hear this, because you're just like by yourself, and then the only person who hears it is like maybe my parents, you know, and the
Yeah.
rest is like no one cared. No one is like wanting to listen to like our music back then, and that was very it was very hard.
Yeah. And on top of just being grateful for people, and I know Gene, you said being grateful that we didn't stop, but I'm also grateful that we even started in the first place. Like,
Yeah.
like to be put in the position to like start something, you have to be like really inspired, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like what I'm trying to say is that like in the 6th grade, I used to play a lot of video games, and my parents put me into piano lessons. And by the time I hit the 6th grade, I was already doing piano for like 5 or 6 years. And because I had some piano experience and I loved to play a lot of video games, I would always watch these like video game montages on YouTube, and they always showcased like certain electronic songs. And I'm just grateful to have been able to discover this like world of music.
Just for
Because
that door to even have been opened for you.
yeah, like no, like what Gene said, I'm like also grateful that like we never stopped. We're grateful for all the people that helped us and supported us when we had nothing. But I'm also grateful, like by luck, that we discovered like this world and we're interested in the first place. Like we could have liked a million other things, but why this, right? So
I think that's beautiful. Well, thank you so much, guys, for chatting with me. I loved getting to hear both of your stories, getting to learn more about you. Really appreciate you guys taking the time for sitting down and talking with me today. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I hope you guys kill it on the tour, and hopefully I get to see you down here in Phoenix.
Yeah,
thank
for
you,
sure.
Kelsey. That was fun.
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys. It was so
Kelsey.
fun. Have a great day, y'all.